all, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of our shooting program, and welcome to today's show. Hey, what friends, we're between rain showers out here, and I tell you, the sun's come out and it's so nice and so pretty. We do certainly have empathy for those folks out west in the drought situation. We're sort of still in a drought situation here, but at least we've had some rain recently to offset it. We're having some this morning, and hopefully we can get through before it sets in on us. Anyway, we're so glad to have you. We have some interesting things on the program today. And let me remind you, our gospel show is running Sunday morning from 10 to 10:30 Eastern on Telstar 401 Channel 3. If you're watching by satellite, you're watching this on T401 Channel 18, but our gospel show, and that is really something we find exciting. I think a lot of you will enjoy it. We have, I think, a fine message and some music. I certainly hope you'll enjoy it. Anyway, moving right along, we do have a great show for you. We have a 1911 here, which is certainly one of my favorite guns, in addition, of course, to our competition model Ruger here. But I certainly enjoy 1911s. I think it has been the high watermark of semi-automatic pistol design. And of course, this Ruger is based on the Browning system, of course, and so as are several others out there. But anyway, we have the 230 grain hardball round here in our magazine. Have a couple of water bottles over here. Let's take a shot with the standard 230 grain ball round, the military type round. 230 grain bullet moving at about 830 or so feet per second. It'll vary a little bit per gun. Let's take our Springfield Armory 1911 here and take a shot at the bottle on the wood block there. Okay. Well, you certainly know it was hit, but now then, let's take another kind of 1911, or certainly a 1911 style gun. This is the very fine Grizzly Winchester Magnum 45 Win Mag. This is the Mark I Grizzly, and really it's not that much bigger than the standard 1911. It's certainly beefed up in some places, but let's take that same bullet, 230 grain bullets, add a hollow point to it, and let's drive it at about 1,600 feet per second, actually about 1,575, which I think is pretty fantastic velocity if you ask me. And let's just see the difference that velocity and that hollow point makes on our hanging water bottle. Woo. And let's let another program begin. Now, friends, we have what I perceive as, certainly my opinion, is really exciting handgun. This, of course, is the Mark I 45 Winchester Magnum Grizzly. And as you can tell from the picture, really it's just a larger 1911. There are a few parts, believe it or not, that actually will interchange. I believe the hammer, that sort of thing, the safeties and all, and it works just like a standard 1911. It has the grip safety, it has the cocked and locked feature. It is a single action semi-automatic. Now, something else that this particular gun has, this is an option on the Grizzly. This one appears to be a nickel plated frame. Heck, it may be stainless for all I know, but we'll call it nickel for the moment. But anyway, it has a slide mounted compensator. Now, a lot of you may be familiar with 1911s competition type guns that have a barrel mounted compensator, but we've seen these before from a company out in Arizona some years ago, and I don't know really who makes this for. Grizzly may make their own for that matter, but this is an effective system. It adds about 1.5 inches to the length of the gun, because believe it or not, this gun has a 5 1/4 inch barrel, whereas your standard 1911 has a 5-inch barrel. So there's very little difference as far as in barrel length. Now, here's what has impressed me so much. One, the manufacturing tolerances that I'm seeing evident from the LAR manufacturing people. They're in West Jordan, Utah, if you'd like to give them a call about their product line. But anyway, I am so impressed with the fit and the surfaces all over this gun. Now, it has a sort of a rib type arrangement on the slide. The slide's bigger and heavier, one to retard the recoil forces of this tremendous cartridge. And honestly, friends, you can see the difference here in the standard 45 ACP and the 45 Winchester Magnum. It's about 3/10 of an inch longer, or roughly 1/3 of an inch longer. Certainly you wouldn't want to chamber this in your regular 45. It just wouldn't go, but wouldn't go through the magazine well for that matter. But still, you're looking at a cartridge. The 45 Win Mag is equal in every respect to the 44 Magnum. And what it essentially does, it gives you a 44 Magnum semi-automatic handgun. This cartridge was originally designed and was slated to be marketed for the wieldy 45 Winchester Magnum handgun, and that was, I believe, a gas-operated gun, if memory serves correct. Don't hold me to that, but the wieldy was a nicely made gun. They were pretty expensive, but for different reasons, they did not remain in production. They are, I understand, very collectible now. If you have one, certainly I'd want to hold on to it. But this was what that cartridge was designed for. Another cartridge at the same time was the 9mm Winchester Magnum, and I believe that AMT and maybe a couple of other companies have chambered guns sporadically for the 9mm Winchester Magnum, which essentially was, if my understanding is correct, a .357 Magnum equivalent semi-automatic pistol cartridge. Well, we've had these Grizzlies out here before. I've had them come through the program from time to time, and they've all been very nicely made and machined guns. That's what impressed me so much, was quality of manufacture. I'll tell you what, this is a gun for those of you who are semi-automatic pistol fans. If you wanted something to take with you as a backup gun on say a big game hunt or something like that, this would really be a good candidate. The Grizzlies that we've had have proven to be very reliable. Their magazines have worked properly. And friends, let me add this. The magazine is really sometimes downplayed as far as the importance in any of the semi-automatics. If you don't have a good magazine, trust me on this one, your gun is simply not going to run. They're not worth much as single shots. You know, the Thompson Center's a lot nicer package for a single shot, and your magazine is really key. So you need to be careful about keeping your magazine lips and your follower and your spring in proper working order. You want to be sure it remains with the same profile. Some people are very rough on the magazines. They drop them and step on them and carry on. Well, I tell you what, that's a good way to tie your gun up next time you shoot it, because the magazine tolerances are really critical for any semi-automatic, regardless of what it is, for the gun functioning properly. I've seen people say, well, my semi-automatic's no good, jams every shot. All they had to do was change magazines, and then the gun would function properly. So bear that in mind. There are a lot of 1911 magazines, a lot of surplus magazines out there, and some of them are in pretty questionable condition as far as their tolerances and the treatment they've had over the years. If you have a 1911 that is not reliable, the first thing to do, absolutely first thing to do, is change magazines. Get a different or a new magazine for the 1911 and see if that doesn't cure your problems. Heck, we've had them on guns that the magazine looked okay, but they just were not reliable, and all you had to do is change to a better magazine there, and sure enough, the gun would start running again. So that's something that I really can't overemphasize. Okay, the Grizzly, of course, I've been saying just how nicely it's made. In fact, we have something we're going to show you in a minute. These guns with the standard 45 ACP bullets that are out there will actually drive the bullets past what the bullet can stand up to. Say the 230 grain Hornady XTP bullet, very fine bullet. It functions really, it's really good for semi-automatic pistol application because the nose is covered with the jacket there. But we found running it at about 1,275 feet per second, it expanded very nicely. But jack it up to 1,550, 1,575 feet per second, and literally they would blow up in our test media. So that's something to be thought about. The standard load that a lot of people are going to run into for the Win Mag is a full metal jacket round nose bullet. And honestly, we've tried, I don't know, 4 or 5 different profiles for this particular gun. And as far as a backup gun on a big game hunt, or certainly a dangerous game hunt like a bear or something like that, I'm not exactly like I said, I stand to be, shall we say, better informed on this, but the full metal jacket bullet might not be such a bad idea. Normally on small game you wouldn't have that much shocking power, but your penetration would be what I would be concerned about, say on an animal like a bear. There are several different types of loaded ammunition out there. Winchester makes the full metal jacket. They also make a lead-tipped hollow point, but we did notice that it is at a reduced velocity from what the cartridge will actually do. We chronographed this 260 grain Winchester lead-tipped hollow point out of this gun at about 1,260 or so feet per second, and certainly it would hold together, say on deer-sized game. And you do have a remarkable amount of power and very low recoil in running one of these big guns at that sort of velocity. So I would think your bullet's going to hold together. Well, it's pretty amazing the effect that this slide mounted compensator has. It really does work well. Let's run a quick experiment here and pick up that bullet that I dropped. The grass is wet down here and we sure don't want any loose ammunition left on the range. That lawnmower come across that live ammunition, you really would not, I don't think that potentially would be too pleasant there. Well, let's do this. We have some regular 45 ACP ammunition here. In fact, we have some jacketed hollow points, full charge, and let's run a quick experiment. And I'm saying that these guns are very easy to shoot. The Grizzly, that is, very easy to shoot well and rapidly. Well, let's just run a quick experiment before the rain comes in a little closer. With our 1911, and we'll take our Grizzly, and let's load some of the high-powered Winchester Magnum ammunition in the magazine. These guns come with a 7-round magazine, very much what most of us are used to on the 1911 type guns. And let's just run a quick experiment here. I'm saying they're easy to shoot, and I believe I'll be proven correct on that. And realize you're looking at 44 Magnum muzzle energies out of a semi-automatic pistol here. And we will be doing some other pieces. Grizzly has sent us, or LAR has sent us, several guns, and in the following weeks we'll be doing features on them because they really have some entertaining stuff. They have conversion kits for all sorts of different calibers, for the 357, for the 44 Magnum, believe it or not, and they really appear to work really well. They also have a 50 Action Express we'll be shooting a little later. Well, let's go ahead and run our experiment now. Have our target set up here, and let's just figure that you had to use the gun against a, say against a bear, or against a, you know, sometimes a wounded deer will attack people. There have actually been people killed by a wounded deer that literally stabbed them, the hunter, with the antlers. When the hunter walked up to check the deer attacked them. So let's do a little rapid shooting.
My name is Jim Willie. I'm here today to introduce you to the Little Freedom Association. Our goal is to unite the citizens of this country together to promote and protect our Constitution and our constitutional rights, especially the Second Amendment, because it's what protects the rest of them. If we took all the patriotic, moral, law-abiding citizens and joined them together, we would have the single largest group in the nation. I can't see how anyone out there could not be concerned about our Constitution. For sign-up or more information, we may be contacted at P.O. Box 1436, Craig, Colorado, 81626. Phone number is area code 970-824-8771. I'd like to thank Johnny and the judge for the time on this show today, and I'd also like to thank everyone out there.
Well, Jim, we certainly applaud everything that you're doing here. Now, friends, here's one of the neatest ideas we've seen in a long time. This is the Cincher holster. One holster to fit small, medium, large, even extra large handguns. The Cincher is fully adjustable for practically any handgun. The Cincher's genuine sheepskin lining is specially treated to combat holster wear and protect your gun's value. The Cincher is designed for comfort and concealability. It's just a little bit wider than your belt. Cinchers can be worn in a variety of positions, strong side, cross draw, or inverted, and worn concealed inside the belt in the small of your back. It's ambidextrous. It instantly converts to left-handed use, and every Cincher adjustable holster comes with a no-nonsense 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it for any reason, simply return it for a full refund. No questions, no hassles. This amazing adjustable holster also comes with a lifetime warranty. Now, here's how to order. The Cincher holster is only $29.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling. Give Bobby a call, 1-800-728-8486. Again, 1-800-728-8486 for the Cincher holster.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
We have our pro timer on here and our target set up, and let's make a quick let's run 5 shots through the gun as quickly as I can. Again, if you were and what we're demonstrating here will be recovery time and group size. So for the standard 45 ACP in a 1911, again, thinking about maybe you're being attacked by an animal or on the way to being attacked by an animal. So let's do that right now. Punch our timer. Get in a low ready position. Okay, 1.53 seconds, starting with safety on in the low ready position, and we have a pretty fair little group there. Now friends, this is a properly and perfectly expanded 45 bullet. This is a Hornady XTP, that is, moving at about 1,275 feet per second. This would be a nice load on deer. It has over 800 and some odd foot-pounds of muzzle energy, and this is a perfectly expanded bullet. Now then, when you take that same bullet up to about 1,575 feet per second, see what happened to it? It literally came all to pieces. Now, this particular bullet, here's one, which is the 260 grain spear, running at about 1,350 feet per second. It held up pretty well, actually, but it did mushroom dramatically. Would not have that much penetration. I think we need to hunt around for some bullets that are really up to the caliber there. Now, again, for reduced loads, I tell you what, that would even be a pretty good defensive load, because the shocking power would be tremendous. It's easy to shoot. It's a little bit milder than the actual factory load there, so wouldn't be a bad consideration if you wanted to use the gun for home defense as well as for hunting. Friends, you can look at the Grizzly. Notice this rib on top here. Of course, it's metal in the slide there. You see it's quite a bit heavier than a regular 45 ACP, and the grip is about ½ inch longer or deeper, say, than the standard 1911, but most people are not going to have too much trouble gripping it. It has, one, the beaver tail grip safety to protect the web of your hand there when shooting. Of course, a standard thumb type safety, very fine adjustable sights, and yes, they have fixed the front sights so it'll stay in there. It has an extended slide release there, and which some of you will prefer. One, it makes it a little easier, and when we know this gun's empty, it makes it easier to release the slide without changing your grip. Certainly this is one gun that the extended slide stop would be useful on. Now see this slide mounted compensator here, and what happens when the bullet passes through the barrel out in the compensator, you'll have pressure behind the bullet literally push the gun muzzle down, and it will keep it from having as much upchuck there when you're shooting it. So again, it's slide mounted, but see the barrel comes on Here's the barrel here. Most of them that we're familiar with are mounted actually on the barrel themselves, but this does work well. Very nicely done. Tell you what, friends, it's getting pretty dark. Maybe you'll be able to see the flashes from the muzzle brake. You'll see a flash of flame heading straight up. Really doesn't bother you when you shoot. It's gone so quickly. A lot of times you won't even see it. But anyway, maybe you can today on the camera with the cloud cover we've got, possibly. Tell you what, the Grizzly Win Mag Mark I edition, a very, very fine piece of equipment. I tell you what, and by today's standards, they're not that terribly expensive. You definitely get first-rate workmanship, and you might give them a call there in West Jordan, Utah, if you're interested in their product line. Maybe they can send you a brochure. Okay, let's shoot it a couple of times here. See, it's definitely a 44 Magnum, but it's not, you don't have quite as much recoil. I don't think as much felt recoil for the size gun as for some of the revolvers. Easy to shoot well, and of course you've got that tremendous capability of the 45 Winchester Magnum cartridge. My goodness. Soldier of Fortune magazine, published and edited by Robert K. Brown, former Special Forces A-Team leader, delivers the goods. For over 20 years, Soldier of Fortune has been on the lines covering wars from Rhodesia, El Salvador, Angola, Grenada, Burma, Panama, and Croatia. Anywhere a shot has been fired in anger, Soldier of Fortune has been there with in-depth, on-the-scene commentaries. We were on the cutting edge at Waco, the Randy Weaver siege, and covering the Oklahoma City bombing, and now at Jordan, Montana, with Soldier of Fortune correspondent Jim Pate being the first reporter to enter the Freeman compound. Each issue of Soldier of Fortune features articles by internationally known weapons expert Peter Kokalis, evaluating what's good, what's bad, and what's new in the field of weaponry. Soldier of Fortune is in the front of the battle to protect our gun rights, and we're constantly on the alert for federal abuses of power. Subscribe now at the special rate of $28.90. Call 1-800-877-5207 and receive 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine. In addition, you will receive a free copy of Fighting Firearms edited by Peter Kokalis. Again, 1-800-877-5207, 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine, $28.90. Now, friends, a lot of us, we better hurry because the rain is fixing to be here any minute. Okay, a lot of us are familiar with our basic Colt Sporter or AR-15 type gun. And this is, of course, the post-band gun that, you know, they had to cut the flash hider off here because that made it much more dangerous, which is just stupid. But notice here, this is our basic modern manufacturing technique, semi-automatic carbine. Well, how about a gun that looks very much like the AR-15, built with the same modern manufacturing techniques and the modern system? Now look here, except this is not a carbine, this is its big brother. This is full-size rifle, friends. This here's a real gun. And of course these are too, but I'll tell you what, this is the AR-10, and it is manufactured by Armalite. And I'll tell you what, friends, this is a really exciting development, and we don't have time for a full test today. We want to show it to you. This is in .308 caliber, which, as most of you know, is a much, much more. That's a full-size battle rifle caliber. Also a very fine deer hunting round. Very, very fine. One of the most accurate cartridges going. These guns come with a 10-round magazine standard, and we have some .308 ammunition for it here today. Let's take a look. Look at our AR-15 with the .223. Losing our papers here. The wind's coming up. And we're all familiar with this. And we'll put our gun on safe now. But this is the match model. It has the removable carrying handle. In fact, the front sight's removable too, so you can mount a scope down low on the barrel if you so desire. But watch the gun in my hands today, loaded up there. So you're not seeing much difference due to the straight line configuration of the stock. Not a lot of recoil, most impressive. These guns will shoot into under an inch for 5 shots at 100 yards. This would be something that a competition shooter might certainly be interested in. It would also be something that some of the police departments would be interested in, because they can use this for precision long-range shooting. Has a very fine trigger on it. Workmanship is just excellent. This particular model, of course, heavy barrel with the fiberglass fore-end here. Neat concept, works just like, takes down just like the AR-15 that a lot of us are familiar with. And Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana have some of these in stock. We look forward to doing a complete test on this particular gun, but we wanted to show it to you today. They have just gotten these, and they're super accurate target grade rifles. One a lot of us would want to use in IPSC type competition for the rifle, and believe me, the 308 will really have a lot of power out there at the extended ranges, which certainly is so important for small groups at the longer ranges. So give them a call if you're interested in the AR-10, and realize it is certainly a more modern version or rendition of the rifle, say, than our M1A here. And I'll show you one other little thing, reason I brought the M1A. They make a kit you can get from Armalite to accept the magazine from the M1A. And for a competition, some of us are going to be interested in the longer magazine, certainly, so we won't have to change magazines between stages. So some of the pre-band magazines, there are a good many of them out there. You can get a kit from the Armalite folks there to make the M1A magazine work in your AR-10. So I see that certainly as a plus for those competition shooters. Okay, give Clark's a call if you're interested, and we look forward to a full test on the AR-10.
Friends, what do Jim Clark Sr., K. Clark Michalik, Jerry Michalik, and Jim Clark Jr. have in common? You can find them all at Clark Custom Guns in Princeton, Louisiana, one of the finest custom gun shops in the entire country. They offer all sorts of custom packages on 1911s and other semi-automatics, from race guns to custom carry guns. They also offer a number of different custom packages for the Ruger 1022, and also have some very economically priced new 1022s in stock. Clark Custom Guns offers some of the best revolver packages available anywhere, including action jobs on your Smith & Wesson or some other fine revolvers. In addition to custom work, they also have a completely stocked gun shop, anything from bullets to powder to accessories that you might want. Clark Custom Guns offer some shooting classes. You need to call for availability. Friends, it's certainly good for the shooting show, but good for yourselves when you call and get a Clark Custom Guns catalog. They have all sorts of things listed about their products and services and excellent prices. Give them a call, area 318-949-9884. Again, 318-949-9884. Clark Custom Guns, the complete custom gun shop. Give them a call today. Tell them you saw it on the shooting show.
Gun Sight Training Center.
Front sight. Get it off. Ready? Grip!
People have a tremendous change in attitude here.
Go down to your target, stand about 1 meter back of your target, and do not paste it. Do not paste it. Relay 2, 7-meter line.
Then you go on down to a standard prone.
The methods taught here at Gun Sight have set training standards throughout the world. Defensive weaponry techniques afford the greatest speed, power, and accuracy. Students attending Gun Sight are afforded the luxury of having an on-site custom shop for immediate service or repairs. It is a full-service gunsmith operation, performing the highest quality of custom modifications on all types of firearms, handguns, or long guns. And the Gun Sight Pro Shop, a retail service dedicated to providing the best shooting products and items available in the world today.
Now, friends, for information on the Gun Sight Training Center, on their custom shop, or on their pro shop, give them a call, area 520-636-4565. Area 520-636-4565. Get a catalog, get information on their custom shop, or on the tremendous stock in their pro shop. They're some of the finest people out there, friends. If you go to Gun Sight Training Center, you will definitely come back knowing, one, how to shoot a gun and how to better protect yourself in this dangerous world we live in. The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. You know, friends, all of us as shooting enthusiasts should be subscribing to Shotgun News, the trading post for anything that shoots. 3 big issues monthly with literally thousands and thousands of firearms bargains. Give them a call, 1-800-345-6923, a very inexpensive subscription price. Again, 1-800-345-6923. Subscribe today.
Well, friends, here it is, the Rossi 971. This is a 4-inch barrel vent rib with the compensated muzzle, very fine adjustable sights, all stainless steel with the very comfortable rubber grip, available from Verde Firearms Corporation for $270 plus $5 shipping and handling. Again, $270 plus $5 shipping and handling. You can get it sent to your own FFL or to your local gun store, or you're friends with someone that has an FFL. This is really a bargain. These are first quality revolvers. I tell you what, we've been shooting this gun. It'll shoot into 2.5 inches at 25 yards all day long. It has really performed admirably. It is a 6-shot revolver. And of course, if I can keep from throwing ammunition around, the HKS K-frame speed loaders do fit these guns. And this is such a nice package for the money. To get one of the first line American manufacturer guns, you're going to pay at least $100 more for this, sometimes more than that. So the Rossi 971 with the compensator, easy to control, a very, very fine value. I tell you what, lifetime guarantee, you can't lose on that. So give Verde Firearms Corporation a call today. Friends, this is the great Rossi 971 vent rib compensated from Verde Firearms Corporation. Give them a call. It's a free one, 1-888-215-1515. $270 plus $5 shipping and handling to your favorite FFL holder. So give them a call. Tell them you saw it on the Shooting Show. 1-888-215-1515. Well, friends, we hope you're enjoying our program. We're certainly enjoying bringing it to you today. My esteemed colleague Leroy Scott is here with me, and sir, I think we have several things we want to talk about, but one of the issues we want to be sure and mention this week, we mentioned church fires last week.
Yeah.
And what was the information we got on that?
Well, I don't know. The information I had on it, Johnny, was that there were more white churches that were burned than there were black. And now the whole thing's been attempted to be turned into a racial situation by a certain politician who wants to make a lot of hay out of it.
Well, can we be more direct on that certain politician, sir?
He's a president.
We have never, we've always been pretty direct. Several things that we need to just touch on today, one of which is the flap over the Viper militia in Arizona. We've heard some more on this, and from what I heard today on Gordon Liddy's program, the government's case is literally disintegrating. For one, we understand that the Viper militia was not a militia at all. It's been called that by the government and by the news media. They were a motorcycle and rocket club. And apparently it was another setup. They had an informant literally trying to instigate trouble, and this has come out that the Viper group had someone working for the government trying to cause problems, in fact, I understood today that the government informant was trying to get the Viper club to pass out Aryan, this white supremacist or white separatist literature, and they wouldn't do it. But the man from the government was trying to get them to do it. And, you know, that sounds a lot like entrapment and who knows what else.
Sounds a lot like Ruby Ridge to me.
Well, apparently they didn't learn their lesson at Ruby Ridge or at Waco. What do you think?
I'm not too sure that the government's willing to learn lessons.
Well, as long as as certainly they can get away with it. And you know, friends, that's one of the reasons we're sitting here, is to keep them from getting away with it.
Well, Johnny, they keep calling these groups the Viper group or the Montana militia or any of the other groups. They keep calling them anti-government groups, and they're not anti-government groups.
No, they're not.
They are pro-freedom groups. They are pro-American groups. They are pro-Constitution groups. And the media is cutting their own throat in the process.
Well, you know, I saw something the other day, whereas more and more people are abandoning network news because they flatly do not believe what the Dan Rathers, the Peter Jennings, some of these other folks are saying. Just don't believe it.
Well, Johnny, if you don't get your news from there, where are you going to get it from?
Well, that's a good point. For a lot of us that may not have cable or may not have satellite, a lot of folks don't, and it is a very discouraging and disturbing thing.
Of course, there's one place you can get some of the news.
That's true.
I don't have enough time to really make a newscast out of it, but as all of you know, I get faxes from the Gun Owners of America. I also get them from the National Rifle Association. The Gun Owners of America right now are off on a mission, so to speak, to try to get the gun ban repealed, and that's senseless at the moment because it would never withstand a repeal would never withstand a Senate filibuster, and I am. They're not going to repeal the Brady bill. The Brady bill repeals itself in a relatively short time now. One of the things they're on, though, and the NRA's on this too, is the funding for the National Center for Injury Prevention and Control, the NCIPC. It's a branch of the Center for Disease Control. What they are trying to do, what the NRA and the GOA are both trying to do, is to cut out their free money, their funding from the government for their anti-gun research, their anti-gun flawed research. It got cut out in the House.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's out in the Senate, and it's still to go to a conference committee on that. And another move in that same direction is Representative Chuck Schumer's. I wonder if he's going to run for governor of New York and get him out of the Congress one way or another. Anyhow, they're off on the kick of limiting the First Amendment rights in order to make it easier to defeat the Second Amendment. And by that I'm talking about free speech. They want to eliminate, under the guise of campaign reform. You know, reform's one of these catchy words. It sounds good, but it depends on what's there when you peel the layers back to find out what it is. And one of the things they want to do in so-called campaign finance reform is to eliminate the ability of any group to get together and to pool their resources to fight legislation, such as the NRA fighting anti-gun legislation, such as Gun Owners of America fighting anti-gun legislation. Right. And that is clearly, in my mind, a violation of free speech and freedom of association. Mm-hmm. In any event, as far as Brady bill is concerned, that matter is up before the Supreme Court now.
Now, what the part that's up before the Supreme Court is whether or not the Brady bill or the federal government can order local law enforcement officials to do a background check. Is that correct?
Yeah, whether they can put unfunded mandates on to the states. And that's only one of them. There are lots of others, but that's the one that has stirred the opposition. There have been several Court of Appeals decisions. The Ninth and Second Circuits have held that the Brady Act doesn't violate the 10th Amendment, but the Fifth Circuit, fortunately the one we live in, the Fifth Circuit has held that it does violate the 10th Amendment, and that the 10th Amendment is that amendment that reserves all rights not herein delegated in the Constitution to the states or to the people.
You know, Carrie, I think it's as important for you ladies to know how to use these firearms as it is for us men. But you know, there's something else. We can have firearms for defense of our homes and certainly for sport, but we also need information.
Yes, I agree. I think the New American Magazine is the best source of information available in this country.
Well, I would certainly agree. The New American Magazine is the truth and nothing but the truth. And friends, if you would like to know what is really going on in this country and around the world, if you want, in fact, the truth, well, you need to get the New American Magazine. So here's how to do it. You can get the New American by calling 1-800-727-TRUE-TRUE. And those numbers, of course, are 1-800-727-8783. The New American, $22 for a 6-month subscription. It comes twice a month. You know, friends, these firearms are certainly important in retaining our liberty, but something else is, too. Kat, hold up this is the new American cover, the new American cover. You know, they're now going to be on your local newsstand. This issue is available with your new Shooting Show subscription, and this is the one that says the case for cover-up in Oklahoma City on that bombing. So, friends, as we've often said, the New American is the finest news magazine available in the United States. So we encourage you today, and with your new Shooting Show subscription, you will get this copy of the New American. And trust me on this one, friends, this is as good an investment as you can make in reading literature, because it's just excellent. And look for the new style cover for the New American Magazine.
You know, the first 10 amendments were adopted. There were originally 12 of them. 2 of them were rejected. I don't even know what they were right now. But the first 10 amendments were adopted about 2 years after the Constitution was adopted. Consequently, they amend everything that's in the Constitution that is in conflict with those amendments.
Well, let's make a point clear, Judge. The reason there's a Bill of Rights is because these were definite things that were supposed to be untouchable, right?
Correct.
And look what's happened, literally, what's happened to our Bill of Rights.
Well, of course, in the first place, they held that the Bill of Rights doesn't apply to the states. It only applies to the federal government. But then the adoption of the 14th Amendment kind of carte blanche brought the first 10 amendments applicable to the states too, except they haven't, Congress has not, I mean the courts have never specifically stated that some of those amendments apply to the states. For example, the Second Amendment. They've clearly brought the First and the Fifth and several others under the protection of the 14th, but it's never been clearly stated or never been clearly or otherwise stated that the Second Amendment applies to the states also. Someday I hope we'll see that.
Well, that's why we have all this idiot legislation in some of these states. Is that correct? Different variations on silly regulations and things varying from state to state.
Well, yes and no. You know, you still got what you are referring to as silly legislation, even in the federal government under the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment has that ambiguous language in it that talks about the militia. And there are arguments that have been made that this is a collective right and not an individual right.
But that's not true at all.
Well, that's what we say. It's not true, and I don't think that it's true. In the first place, the only militia that existed at the time of the adoption of the Second Amendment was the public. The public was the militia.
Right.
As one of the framers put it, who are the militia? It's the whole body of the people, except for a few politicians. And when we lose the capacity to be righteously indignant about things, we are on the way to losing our freedom. And this is still the most free country, as far as I know, in the entire world. But there are erosion factors that are attacking that, and some of them are illustrated by this.
Oh, absolutely.
This sign back here. I read an article in the issue that came in today of the New American about Corporal New and his court-martial. And there's a legislation actually in Congress that will make that action not appealable to the courts. I'm not sure that that's constitutional either. Well, several factors here with the NRA faxes. First, let me give you these numbers. If you'll call a Gun Owners of America, they'll put you on their fax list. That's 703, that's in Springfield, Virginia, 703-321-8585. You can call them and ask them to do it, or you can fax them. Their fax number is 703-321-8408. Same thing for the NRA. You can get on their fax list. All you have to do is ask for it. And their telephone number is an 800 number, 1-800-392-8683. That's the NRA Fax Alert Network number. Their fax line is 703-267-3918. But you don't need a fax number when you've got a free number to call in. Sure. That's the 800 number. And the caption of this one that came into me on June 21st was "Attacking the First to Conquer the Second," trying to limit the amount of freedom of speech so that pro-gun groups could not lobby. I don't know what they're going to do about the anti-gun groups. Probably nothing. And at least that's the direction that they're going, it seems to me.
Well, the reason they're doing this is because we have made some starts as far as getting some, there are quite a few states now are adopting concealed carry laws for handguns. And we are starting some movement. And let me tell you what, friends, the other side is not going to lay down. I mean, they didn't get where they are today with all the mischief they've caused us by taking it easy, by letting up, by laying low.
Well, incidentally, the state police in Louisiana have now issued a bunch of regulations on our statewide concealed carry bill, and our Representative Brunn, who was one of the sponsors of that legislation, went down and had a conference with the state police and the governor's executive council, who kind of tends to the state police as far as the governor's concerned, to get a few bad things in those regulations out, and he was successful in all of them.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here we have our shooting show competition model. This is the Ruger P90 that's been modified by us so it will operate with the safety on in the cock position. And this is not a factory offering. You can get this only through us here at the program. The tremendous price, I think, $469.88. It has a lot of features that guns that would cost $800 or $900 more would have. They're already on our Ruger here. Stainless steel slide and barrel, internal working parts with a heavy-duty aluminum frame. We have custom grips on it. For those of you who would like to shoot the Ruger P90 in local competition as far as IPSC or action-type shooting, this is something that you'll really be interested in. We think it's really a bargain. Give Bobby a call, 1-800-728-8486 for our shooting show competition model. Soldier of Fortune magazine, published and edited by Robert K. Brown, former Special Forces A-Team leader, delivers the goods. For over 20 years, Soldier of Fortune has been on the lines covering wars from Rhodesia, El Salvador, Angola, Grenada, Burma, Panama, and Croatia. Anywhere a shot has been fired in anger, Soldier of Fortune has been there with in-depth, on-the-scene commentaries. Subscribe now at the special rate of $28.90. Call 1-800-877-5207 and receive 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine. In addition, you will receive a free copy of Fighting Firearms edited by Peter Kokalis. Again, 1-800-877-5207, 12 action-packed issues of Soldier of Fortune magazine, $28.90. Now, friends, you're looking at the Shooting Show satellite dish, and this is a wonderful deal we have for just a little over half what you would expect to pay for this quality dish with remote control installed. $1,496.15. That is installed. Give Bobby a call today, 1-800-728-8486. Also, if you have an older satellite dish, you may want to upgrade your equipment, so we can help you on that too. So give them a call today, the Shooting Show satellite dish promotion.
You know, everything that people that say they want to reform isn't necessarily
Needs reform.
Needs reform, and there's not anything necessarily that's good for you. Well, anyhow, they were unable to stop a filibuster in the Senate on campaign finance reform, so that's dead. At least it's dead for the present. And then the Senate voted overwhelmingly to preserve the new civilian marksmanship program by a 71-29 margin. The Senate defeated the efforts of those opposed to firearms safety and marksmanship training and ensures that the program will continue to educate America's youth and groom future Olympic champions. There we owe special thanks to Senator Stevens, Republican of Alaska, Bob Smith, Republican of New Hampshire, Larry Craig, Republican of Idaho, Strom Thurmond, Republican of South Carolina, and John Glenn, surprisingly, Democrat of Ohio.
Of all people. Of all people going.
Now, the latest facts from the NRA that just came in this week, they're talking about speech ban and NCIPC funding again. They say down but not out. In the House has not followed the lead set by their colleagues in the Senate on the issue of campaign financing. I don't think they make much difference what they do in the House. The Senate's going to kill it. But be that as it may, we need to call our representatives and urge them to oppose any campaign finance reform legislation that locks you out of the political process. And by you, I mean you and people like you who band together, say in the NRA or Gun Owners of America or any other group that wants to inform their members and inform the public about what their representatives are doing. There's so much information in these facts I really don't have the time available to cover them completely, and that's why I urge everybody to get on those fax networks. Right. My friend up in Arkansas,
Mr. Swanbeck,
Marv Swanbeck, sends me stuff every week, and honest to goodness, Marv, I do read it. I may take it home and read it at night, and then I may leave it at home and not bring it back here to present it on the program, but I do appreciate what you're doing, and I have to admire you for taking the time to do it. But invariably, it's fine information. It's information that, you know, I read it and I get discouraged. I get discouraged because it seems that freedom is under attack on so many different fronts that we cannot possibly oppose all of those different things, and some of them are going to sneak in. It is a horrible situation, and I don't know what to do about it. I'm reminded too that on the I was listening to the Libertarian nominee for president for the Libertarian Party. He said the Democrats want to I've forgotten exactly what he said now, but he was talking about what the Democrats want to do in connection with crime control, which is build more prisons, get more police, and pass more taxes, and so forth. What the Republicans want to do is to ignore the Bill of Rights, and they're both wrong, and they are on that. Mm-hmm. If you take the profit out of lawless behavior, you'll pretty nearly cut out the lawless behavior. At least that part of it is done for profit, and that's the only part of this drug thing that kind of attracts my attention. That if you took out the profit from the drug trade, then there wouldn't be any drug trade to speak of. If sugar were illegal, then it would cost a fortune to get sugar. I'm just astounded at the number of things, the number of different fronts on which we're being attacked, and it means more than ever, that you and the television audience, you and our viewers, must keep yourself informed. And you can keep yourself informed several ways. One is by getting on the NRA facts list, one of them is getting by the GOA facts list, another is by joining whatever PAC you are particularly interested in, contributing money, and incidentally both the NRA and the GOA want money for their political agenda this fall. And I got called by the by the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee that wanted me to contribute some money, and I told them, look, I don't necessarily support all the Republicans. I want to know who my money is going to, and what they're gonna do. So I want to choose who I send money to, and again, I want to boost State Representative Woody Jenkins, who's running for the United States Senate. We would never have a better friend in the Senate of the United States than Woody Jenkins. I want to boost Representative Scarborough down in Florida, 1st District of Florida, to get the United States out of the UN. That's one of the most dangerous, insidious things that we've got before us. And it galls me when the Vice President of the United States tells grieving mothers and fathers that their children died under defense of the UN. Baloney.
Well, on that note, well, friends, stay tuned. We've got an awful lot of work in front of us. All of us do. And because we feel like that our country and our children's future, our grandchildren's future, hinges a great deal on what we do today. Don't you agree, sir?
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. I don't have any grandchildren. But in a way that makes me feel good, because I kind of like King Louis. I think it'll survive out my time. It might survive my children's time. It would never survive my grandchildren's time at the rate at which it's going, unless you get up in arms and exercise your right at the ballot box, and make sure that your neighbors who are in sympathy with your thoughts exercise their rights at the ballot box, and let's get pro-liberty people elected to Congress and to the Senate.
The ballot box and the mailbox. Friends, remember our gospel program on Sunday morning, 10 to 10:30 Eastern on Telstar 401, Channel 3. The gospel show, Telstar 401, Channel 3, 10 to 10:30 Eastern time on Sunday morning. I think you'll enjoy it.